Cumberland County meeting for Tuesday, April 22nd. It's 5:30, so appropriately we're starting. Call the meeting to order. Mr. Manager, would you please, or no, Catherine, would you please call the agenda, and we'll excuse Mr. Cloutier.
Tom Tyler.
Here.
Commissioner Smith.
Here.
Chair Gordon.
Steve Gordon here.
Commissioner Katerina.
I'm here.
And Commissioner Cleaver's absent.
Excused absence. And those that are willing to join us, please stand and we'll do a salute with the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well, thank you for being here, everybody. Appreciate it. We've got, I see some people from the sheriff's area. We have somebody that's representing one of our other departments. I presume it's CDBG. And that's it to the audience tonight. Mr. Manager, do we have any opening remarks that we need to consider?
Nope, all good.
Then with that, I'll ask for a motion to approve the minutes as written.
So moved.
Second?
Is there any discussion? Anybody see any changes,
No.
typos, right? Then those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Unanimous? Informational reports. We had a newsletter that was out, and I guess I really want to express my appreciation for the newsletter. If you haven't finished reading it, please do so. And because I got a couple of remarks down here. One, it demonstrates the strength we together have as the county's vital services provided to our citizens. And two, the personal assets we have internally, we should be sharing between departments. Believe me, I was very, very pleased to see that. And if you're, some of our personnel, please don't be afraid to ask somebody else for assistance, because what's beginning to show up is that our teams are really beginning to coalesce and work together. And thanks to our senior staff, it's taking off. With that said, we'll move to, because there's no motion that's needed, comments from the public. There's a 3-minute comment per speaker, and I don't see any public here. Oh, we're gonna, okay.
Commissioner, if I-
Sure, absolutely.
I didn't ask for this to be scheduled on the agenda, more of an ad hoc request, but I just wanted to take an opportunity where we had a commissioners meeting tonight. Brian Ackerman retired from the sheriff's office last October as our captain of the criminal investigation division. We went through a process to replace Captain Ackerman over several months. We had about a dozen applicants for that position. We opted to interview about a half dozen or so. I wanted to take a minute to introduce Captain Dean Fredericks, who comes with us with more than 30 years of supervisory and criminal investigative experience. I'll let him do the talking, but Dean comes to us from a 20-year or so career in New Bedford, Massachusetts, Wayland community, and then almost another 10 years with the Collier County Sheriff's Department as a homicide detective. He's living in the Topsom area, Durham area, close by, and has just been a great fit and just really brings a wealth of experience and insight, and has really kind of helped us move the CID program in some new directions. So I'll introduce Dean. Dean, if you'd like to come up.
I'm sorry, could you say his name again? I didn't catch it.
Dean
Fredericks,
So
thank
I'll
you.
yield my 3 minutes to Captain Fredericks.
Hi, good evening.
Good evening. Glad to have you.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here. So, thankfully, went through the process of hiring here with the Cumberland County Sheriff's Office. Glad to be here. I have, as the chief said, over 30 years of experience in investigations. Majority with the New Bedford Police Department in New Bedford, Massachusetts. I led a team of detectives there for several years, the major crime section. Mostly in major crimes there is robberies and homicides and deaths, investigations, and then finished up my career there and moved to Naples, Florida, and worked for the Collier County Sheriff's Office for 10 years. And was assigned to the homicide section there for that period of time. And so the majority of my background is in long-term, complex investigation, mostly focused on homicide. I do also have experience with the DEA. I was a task force officer for 2 years with the DEA on loan with them, and we worked throughout New England doing large-scale drug trafficking investigations during that time. So I have a pretty broad experience and a lot of knowledge to help me succeed here in Cumberland County. And when I arrived here, I was very happy to meet all my detectives. They're all great, very talented. They have a lot of training, and just hope to enhance that and encourage that and mentor them in ways that I think I can to help them, and also expand our training. And there's some things that I'd like to bring into tools that they need to succeed. The places that I've worked with, technology is the thing we're going to focus on to help them do their jobs. There's a lot of things out there that they just haven't had the opportunity to have that a lot of places do, and it'll really spring forward our investigations into forensic examinations of telephones, specifically, and data retention devices. We really are lacking in that, and nowadays everything is captured on telephones. So those are things that we have that we're working towards to try and upgrade our abilities in that world. So, and that's about it. We want to increase that. We have some other projects we're working on. I was happy to take on the drug take-back program that starts next weekend on the 26th. We're several communities in the county, so we'll be back out there Saturday from 10 to 2 at various locations throughout the county to collect the drugs, working with DEA. So I'm new, but I'm open to any questions you have. I really anxious and kind of really looking forward to doing well here, and hopefully we get to show you our stuff as these investigations go on. Please call me if you have any questions or anything that related to any questions you might have. Feel free to call me. I'll leave some cards for you.
Great.
Okay.
Yeah. Any questions?
Yeah,
Sure.
first of all, welcome. It's nice to have you here, and you're not the first Massachusetts person who come to Maine, but what are you most excited about?
I'm most excited about working with this group, and I've worked in different departments at different mid-management levels, and in here I have a lot more responsibility. I have a very broad range of responsibility, from the SRO program also under me, and all the detectives, the crime scene technicians, and that's a lot for one person to try and manage.
Sure.
I look forward to the challenge of it, and I know I'll do well at it. It's just getting my legs under me and learning how things are done here. So, but I'm most excited about that, taking on these new responsibilities and doing well in them.
Great, and thank you for all your vast experience and bringing it to us. We're
Yeah.
excited to have it. Thank you.
My pleasure.
And any other questions? Go ahead.
Well, I don't have a question. I just wanted to say welcome to
Thank you.
Cumberland County, and it's not quite as warm here as it is in Naples. So.
Yes,
In
yes.
Naples, Florida, anyway. So,
Yes.
thanks for coming up.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, but he got the ocean breezes of Bedford for many years, so.
Well, that's true.
Don't
That's
go
true. That's true.
Different.
Bedford, you would. Yeah. Yeah.
He's here today.
Now, do you have any family here?
Well, I came to Maine because of a girl that I met in Florida.
Ah.
There you go. I was going to say to you, if you don't have 4 or 5 generations behind you, you're
Yeah.
You're from away.
Oh, that's not true.
well, welcome. I'm glad to have you here. Thank you. And I appreciate you coming and making the introduction.
Yes, sir.
Much appreciated. Is there any other family or presentation? Well, thank you.
Yeah,
Appreciate it,
that was
Deputy
good.
Chief.
Yeah.
Let's see, consent agenda. Well, just for the public, any commissioner is allowed to remove an item by just asking, and then it'll get moved to the new business agenda. But I need a motion to move passage of the consent agenda, including consecutive items 25-31 through 25-38, plus item 25043.
So moved.
Second.
Is there, well, there's no discussion. Those in favor? That's passed. Well, good. Consent agenda's out of the way. New business. And I believe you are on the docket. Mr. Gailey, I was going to turn this to, but while you're getting up there, we need a motion to approve the Community Development 2025 Annual Action Plan, including the allocation of the CDBG and home partnership funds, and authorization of the county manager to execute all required certification applications and documents in conjunction with the submittal of the 2025 Consolidated Annual Action Plan. This is a second reading, and we will have to have a final public hearing, which we'll do after we get this motion passed.
So moved.
Second.
You're on, because Jim's not here.
So where it stands, the numbers have not changed. We still don't have our allocation. So the original annual action plan that was presented last month is what we are with now, and we'll change that when we have the contingency plan, once we have our allocation. They said that we should have it by May 15th, but I don't think anybody's holding their breath for that. So when we have those final numbers, we can send those updates out. So for now, the annual action plan is as it stands. And there was no public comment. I did have a few applicants that did not get recommended to receive funding reach out just for like a sit down to discuss what they could change with their application. So I have a couple meetings set up through the month of May and June to see what they can do to work towards a better application for next year and what they need to tweak to recommend funding. So.
Do we have any questions? Go
Just
ahead.
have one question. So the update of when we might hear more, you said it might come mid-May, but you're not holding your breath. Who's the person that we're getting this information from in terms of when will we get an update? Who are we working with at the next level?
So we receive a lot of updates from Vicki Watson, who is the National Community Development Association Executive Director. She's the liaison that kind of keeps us updated with everything that's going on as soon as she knows. And it doesn't come directly from HUD typically.
Right.
And they are supposed to have the allocation to us by May 15th each year, so that we can turn around and have our actual action plan complete 45 days before the program year starts. If that does not happen, then waivers have to be sent out, and we are just kind of at a waiting game until that happens. So, but we do get regular updates from NCDA, and sometimes it's just, we're still waiting and hanging on.
And in terms of the funding, if it's delayed by quite a few months or such, would there any be like retro type funding, or if funding is lost, then does that just change how we go through the process?
So in years, we have had years where we did not get our allocation until August.
Okay.
So we make sure just to communicate with that with all the subrecipients, and we
Okay.
try to have everything on our end prepped and ready to go when those funds are available, but we make them aware that we cannot reimburse until the money exists.
Yeah.
So we may get ourselves into that situation again.
Yeah.
Most of them are pretty aware if that's how it works, and that we just need to have waivers in place for that. But they will, when the money becomes available, we can pay back till the July 1 date of
Okay.
when their work
That's
starts.
curious, okay,
Yeah.
great. Super. Thank you for answering
Yeah.
those questions. Good luck.
Thanks.
Commissioner?
Yeah, thanks for coming. I just want to remind folks I'm the liaison to the community block grants, and I'm frustrated as heck by what's going on with the funding and the lack of information, and it's really screwed up, to be blunt about it. But I do want to thank the staff and everyone who've put in a lot of work to make those choices. It was for me to go to the one meeting I've been to and just talk to the various parties involved to make the decisions. I also got a couple of phone calls from people who did not get their funds, and I did send them to you. I don't know if any of them called you or mentioned my name, but anyway, so thank you for talking to them and, helping them think about how in the future they can refocus or redo what they need to do. So
Yep.
just wanted to let you know I appreciate everything you guys are doing, and we're just up against the wall right now, which is too bad.
We are, and there's just never enough, unfortunately.
No,
So,
right.
Any other questions of Courtney? No? All right, well, we'll vote on this, and then I think we have to open and have a public hearing and then close it.
Yep.
Is that right, Mr. Manager?
Correct.
Those in favor?
Aye.
All right, to follow procedure, we'll open a public hearing on this requirement, and seeing that there is no public here, we'll close the public hearing and declare that it is passed. Those in favor?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Courtney.
All right, let's see, where are we now? We're at, I need a motion for adopting a 12.5% indirect rate for Cumberland County.
So moved.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Gailey?
Thank you. This is a first time item for the County Commission's consideration this evening. It is a 12.5% indirect rate, applying that rate to grants that the county receives. Historically, the county did not look at applying an indirect towards grants. However, historically, we've only had a few big ones, and at the time, the previous administrations have determined that that could be absorbed through the general fund for oversight. The county has been very successful in obtaining a number of large grants. A lot of them sit in public health, and it has come to the point now that administering these grants just doesn't fall within one person. It's impacting several staff members, if not departments, to get the administration of these grants, and sometimes these grants require hiring. And so there's quite a bit going into all of them now. And so to do that and to cover the costs of the county, we're proposing a 12.5% indirect rate. The federal government allows you to do anywhere between 10 and 15%. Anything over 15%, you would have to make a special application to the federal government for the setting of a indirect rate. We're opting to stay within that 10 to 15%, and through a number of discussions, we landed on the middle of it all at 12.5%. We feel as though that is an appropriate percentage that would cover the needs of the county through administering these grants. So if you have any questions, I'm available to answer them.
Any questions for the manager?
You go first this time. I'll go after.
Commissioner?
Yes, thanks. Since this is new to me, so this 12.5% is something that you can add to your requests for monies from the feds, and they won't argue with you? Well,
You typically, it gets put through as the budget item. So if you're
Okay.
applying for a $600,000
Right.
grant, 12.5% of the grant could be used when you submit the budget of
Okay.
how you're going to spend the money towards administration of the grant, or paying for rent, or paying utilities, things like that.
Okay, interesting. All right, thanks.
Any other?
Yep. So this is a first for us, which I think, sometimes it seems like got to do different things, different years. My question is this for the fiscal year? Is this something that's going to be sitting on the books in perpetuity, not in perpetuity, but what does this look like in terms of, is this a one-year adjustment for us for this indirect, or is this going to be here on out, whenever we have federal grants, this will be baked into the equation?
My intentions are that as long as we have federal, state grants, that this is going to be baked into the equation.
Okay. If we ever wanted to change it, whether it goes down, goes away, or goes up, would that just be another item coming before the commissioners to do that? Otherwise, we assume it's 12.5 here on out?
Correct.
Forever and whenever ever is?
Correct.
Okay, good to know.
Any other questions? Commissioner brings up a good point. Maybe what we should say is this is a policy. Then it goes into our policy book, just like we have, and that can be just changed the same way. It was just a vote, but it's there. So people are looking at, see what we've got there. Jim, have you got any idea of what, say, the state charges?
I do not.
Okay.
We weren't worried about others. We were worried, we didn't want to make special application to the federal government. We were playing within the parameters of what we were reading in federal statute, and we based it off from that.
Yeah, we just wanted to know what it was relative, what they, others are doing. That's good. Okay. Let's see, did we vote on that? Yes, we did.
Not yet.
Not yet? Those in favor?
I
Passed unanimously. Two. Next we have two proclamations, and I'll give Catherine a chance to read the first proclamation, and it's for the week of May 4th through the 10th as National Correction Officer Week in Cumberland County. If you'd be so kind.
Whereas correctional officers are trained enforcement professionals dedicated to maintaining safe correctional facilities and ensuring public safety, and whereas correctional facilities across the U.S. are run by highly qualified and experienced individuals with a deep understanding of the challenges within the profession, and whereas correctional officers and employees are responsible for the custody, care, and rehabilitation of thousands of offenders every year, as well as the maintenance of safe and secure facilities, and whereas correctional officers and employees are resourceful, capable, committed, patient, and persistent professionals in criminal justice, and whereas correctional officers and employees serve admirably in many different capacities, including jail administrators, chaplains, nurses, supervisors, social workers, teachers, managers, and directors, and whereas correctional officers and employees mentor, counsel, and treat offenders, and whereas correctional officers and employees provide offenders with direction while assisting with reentry and life outside corrections, and whereas correctional officers and employees rise to meet any challenge and serve this honorable profession nobly and admirably, whereas the dedicated men and women of the Cumberland County Jail have displayed a high level of commitment and dedication to the county and its inmates over the last year, assuming new and greater responsibilities, taking on additional shifts, and supporting the numerous new hires in their role. And now, therefore, be it resolved, the County Commissioners of the County of Cumberland declares the week of May 4th through 10th, 2025 to be National Correction Officer Week in Cumberland County, Maine, in honor of the men and women who deserve recognition for their service and the exceptional performance of their duties under difficult circumstances. Signed this 22nd day of April.
Thank you. While we're following up with that, the next is a proclamation.
You want to take a vote on that?
Yeah, well, I will, okay. So I need a vote to proclaim that the week of May 4th, as National Correction Officer Week in Cumberland County.
So moved.
Second?
Those in favor? Unanimous, it passes. The next proclamation we have is a proclamation of May 11th through the 17th of 2025 as National Law Enforcement Week in Cumberland County. Can I have a motion on that?
So moved.
Second.
Second, okay. Catherine, if you'd be so kind.
All right, so this is for the proclamation for National Law Enforcement Week, May 11th through 17th, 2025, to recognize National Law Enforcement Week 2025 and to honor the service and sacrifice of those law enforcement officers who protect our communities and safeguarding our democracy. Whereas there are more than 800,000 law enforcement officers serving in communities across the United States, including the dedicated members of the Cumberland County Sheriff's Department. Whereas across the country, citizens take the lead to demonstrate support on National Law Enforcement Week. Whereas law enforcement officers of every rank and file have chosen a profession that puts their life on the line every day of their communities and counties. They answer the call to public service that is demanding and often unappreciated. On National Law Enforcement Week, we have an opportunity to thank them for their service. Whereas the Cumberland County Sheriff's Department has been accredited since 2025 and most recently received the Triple Crown Award from the National Sheriff's Association for being nationally accredited in law enforcement, corrections, and inmate health care. Whereas 75 dedicated individuals make up the Sheriff's Department, giving their service to the citizens of Cumberland County 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. Whereas a total of 38,864 calls for service were responded to during 2024, calls ranging from routine traffic stops, criminal mischief, domestic violence altercations, drug overdose, or attempted murder among many others. Whereas the Cumberland County Sheriff's Department goes to great efforts to be a community partner by offering services like National Drug Take Back Day, National Night Out, Consumer Fraud Awareness, Senior Awareness Programs, and Coffee with a Cop. Therefore, be it resolved that Cumberland County Commissioners will observe May 11th through 17th, 2025 as National Law Enforcement Week in Cumberland County and publicly salutes the 75 employees of the Cumberland County Sheriff's Department and thanks them for all they do for public safety in our county. Signed this 22nd day of April 2025.
Those in favor? Unanimous. Well, thank you. I'm going to take a little bit of optionism as the chair and in charge. Our next item was to be the executive session, but since we won't be taking any action, I'm going to move that to the last item of business that we'll have, and we'll go through the comments, and that way people that are on television or in the audience here won't have to stay throughout the executive session before we get to finish the job. So, with that said, comments from the executive. Amy, do you have things you wish to share at this point?
No, I mean, I can share, we are still hiring at least 5 to 7 correction officers a month. That's been our trend since the first of the year. Retention is still probably at a 55-60% rate, primarily due to the nature of the job, certainly. We have 3 patrol deputy openings, which is good numbers for us. 3 dispatch openings. So overall, our hiring, pretty pleased. Obviously, we'd like to spend, get some more correction officers in for the jail. We have probably 6 to 7 other openings that we're working on. And as for the labor relations, we still have the 4 ongoing collective bargaining agreements, which we're moving along. And, at some point, I'll be back for an executive session to explain all the details with that.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, sure.
Thanks for the rundown on what's happening at HR and the hiring efforts.
You're welcome.
Quick question around, I know that you mentioned the 55, you said about 55% rate of losing
Yeah.
folks.
Yeah.
Attrition. When, I know you do exit interviews, which is great, then we get data on why people are not staying or what the issues are. When do you do your, we're staying interview in terms of when someone's been here for a bit, we think that they're gonna stay? At what point in their employee life cycle are you able to kind of sit down and say, you've been here for 6 months or a year, what's keeping you here, what do you love about it? What do you think can give us feedback to hopefully capture the next person so they want to stay?
Yeah.
We
We haven't done that, but that's an excellent idea. It's been mostly targeted, most of my energy to try to see why people are leaving. But that's a good point to make, to at least
For
speak
the
to the
other
ones that are
percentage,
staying
the
is
35%.
what's motivating you to stay.
Right, exactly.
So, I'll put that in place. Thank you for that.
Sure, thank you.
Any other comments or questions of? No. Any, seeing none? James?
I got 2 items this evening. First is an update on the cross-insurance arena budget. The trustees reviewed the budget within the last 2 weeks, the operations budget, and will have forwarded a positive recommendation to the county commissioners. Mike and I have been working to tighten certain aspects of the budget up a little bit, so we did not make this meeting, but we will be putting it on the May meeting for the commissioners' consideration. Second item I have is the update on Northport Building. Today I received an update on timeframe. It's looking like we're about 5 weeks out for a full move-in. So that lands us somewhere in the Memorial Day weekend, fingers crossed. This was a building that we were supposed to be substantial completion on March 28th, and that did not occur. However, I will say that they have got the attentions of their subs, and there are quite a few individuals in that building daily, especially over this past weekend. And so things are taking shape rather quickly, but there's still a lot to do on the first floor. The second and third floors are pretty much 95 to 100% done. It's the first floor that needs to catch up. So chugging along, wish it was faster, but in the end, what's another month? We'll forget about it after a week being in there. So looking forward to opening up that building and not only sharing it with staff, but also the community itself. So that concludes all the communications I have this evening. Thank you.
With that said, essentially, it'll end the business meeting, and I need a motion to go into executive session.
Do you want to
Are we gonna do
commissioner comments?
Oh, well, I suppose I can.
I'll start.
Jean Marie. Commissioner.
Yes, Legislative Policy Committee, we meet weekly. This has been going on since January. It's been great for me because it's gotten me right into the middle of things and learning fast. It's things are going well considering that there's no money. Let's put it that way. We're making some inroads, I think, I hope, on, the big thing is jail funding, but stay tuned on that because, again, the governor's office has been very, very clear that there's no money. So, you've got to take what you can get. That being said, we're advocating very fiercely for that. And there are other items too. What I have found most interesting as the newbie is how well all of the counties work together. And the meetings every week with the fellow commissioners on Zoom have been, I've enjoyed them thoroughly. We've had great discussions. I'm learning a lot about different parts of the state. We're being reminded about, you know, the situations in different parts of the state. And I think that, you know, not to sound trite, and I forget what book it was from, but together we will achieve more. We just got to keep plugging, so.
Thank you. Tom, William,
I'm last.
you're next to
Technically
him.
you. Yeah.
Tom?
Oh, I get to jump in. Yeah, I mean, my involvement's been, of course, with the cross-insurance arena lately. The budget's there. Yeah, I always try to cheer them on to somehow come out in the black. I think there's a shot we're gonna do it again this year. But it's an interesting, because we have a subcommittee that's working on the Mariners contract negotiations. Those are up and down, but they seem to be positive, and everybody wants the Mariners to be here. So I think it's gonna work out fine in the long run. But it's been interesting.
Good. Yep. Commissioner Smith.
Thank you. So, one of the committees I serve on is the Cooperative Extension, and obviously the university's also losing some money, and there's some financial issues always going on in the University of Maine. And I will just tell you how grateful and thrilled the director and the board was when they heard that Cumberland County was supporting them through the budget. They were so nervous and, you know, just concerned about where all their programming funds would come through. They do a lot within the county on so many different levels, whether it's, you know, cooking nutritiously or 4-H programs, all the, you know, from soup to nuts, and they're just so thankful. I'm just extending their thanks and their gratitude to Cumberland County for the money that was put in the budget, especially for the programming they do and all the people they impact within the county. So just passing that along. And the second thing, on a personal level, you know, it's spring. I know it's school vacation for a lot of folks. A lot of people are out riding their bikes and running and doing all sorts of fun things outside. So just as a reminder, you know, slow down, be careful if you're in a car. There's a lot of activity out there, and, you know, appreciate, you know, the small things in life right now, I guess I'll say about that. So, thank you.
Good,
That's it.
good. Well, you stole my opening remark.
The small things in life?
No, spring is here and the young people are out and,
I'm in
please
your
be-
mind. I don't know if you know I can mind meld you right now.
The Falcon Mind Mill.
I didn't put that in the resume, but it's there.
Well, and the thing that I would like to say on top of that is that the more I've, because of being chair, I get to work more with the people inside, and it's wonderful seeing the teams that have been developed by our senior staff and our senior leaders. And they're beginning to come together, they're working well, but the thing that I'm beginning to recognize is that not only are they coalescing as teams this way, they're going cross teams. And when you start to get that going in an organization, the positive feeling and sense of good being and wanting to be part of a bigger organization starts to occur, and it's happening. I just say keep it up and do that, because what you do is you throw away the negative environment. You get a cross connection in ideas, and sometime you reach out to somebody that has no idea what you do, and you ask them about it, and boy, fresh eyes bring in some unique solutions, and that's what we need. We may be a government, but we're still doing the business of the public, and the public's going to win. And I thank the senior team for that, and I thank this board that we have, because this board is, in my opinion, starting to become entrepreneurial, and thank you. So with that, I guess now I can say to the public, we'll close the business part of the meeting because we are going into the executive session, and there will be no business afterwards. So essentially what you need to understand and know what we're doing has been completed. So with that, I'd like a motion to go into an executive session, Title I, MRSA paragraph 4056D, for the discussion regarding the lease arrangement between Power Play LLC